would describe my career in STEM in one word as fulfilling. I graduated with a degree in chemical engineering almost 20 years ago. And since then, I've been constantly learning. I started in technical jobs where I used a lot of my engineering skills directly, but I also got the opportunity to work on teams that involved other parts of the company. And so I've gotten to work on daily operations. I've gotten to work on long-term strategies. My career eventually led me down a leadership path. And right now I have the privilege to lead an incredibly capable global team. And while I don't often find myself doing detailed engineering calculations on a daily basis, I still leverage my STEM background all the time. It shapes my thinking and it helps me quickly understand new opportunities and new challenges. What excites me about STEM? It shapes the whole world. It makes life better for literally the entire world. STEM is at the root of advances in our basic quality of life. Access to food, shelter, clean water, medicine, communication. The list goes on and on. And it's also at the cutting edge of the future. Think about how different your life was 10 years ago, and 10 years before that, and 10 years before that. I mean, things are changing exponentially fast. It's dynamic and it's exciting. And working in STEM, you have the ability to positively impact so many people's lives. My job in STEM is one of the ways that I feel like I can help the world be a better place. STEM needs to be normal. It needs to be visible. It needs to come to mind when kids think about their career opportunities. And it also needs to be okay to learn. That means that when you're young and you make mistakes, kids need to hear that that's part of the learning process. They don't need to hear that math is hard and it's okay. And it's not everyone's good at math, right? I will say that some biases feel like they're starting to fade, but there are still plenty of people who discourage STEM for girls, ranging from unconscious bias all the way toward belief that women simply belong at home. These people influence their family and the people around them. So we need more voices and more examples to show young girls and women that there are big opportunities in STEM. Some things we can do, you can talk about it at a local school, a community event, a Boy Scout meeting, on an interview. As parents, teachers, mentors, just fellow human beings, we can continue to work on unconscious bias and debunk old adages that just aren't true. Next time you hear somebody say that girls just aren't good at math, don't just roll your eyes and keep walking. Tell them that girls are awesome at math. Like most people, work-life balance is something that I needed to figure out along the way, and it's never constant. Over 20 years, my work changed a lot, and my life changed a lot. One thing I did learn is that it's not about the hours I spend at home or at work. That's a piece of it, but it's really about how I'm feeling about the balance. If I'm generally feeling enthusiastic and upbeat, I'm in a good place. When I learned that I'm recurringly stressed and frustrated, I need to take a step back. So how do I take a step back to manage it? I guess I'll share two thoughts. First, I learned that I will never feel balanced if I also feel like I have to do it all. And that means asking for help. And frankly, that doesn't come very natural to me. I am a classic people pleaser. And that doesn't usually mean asking other people to do stuff for me. But I'm not pleasing anybody if I'm so stressed that people don't even want to be around me. And just because I can do a lot by myself, it doesn't mean that I should. My strongest support comes from my husband, who knows when I need help, even when I am too stubborn to ask for it. And I also have a strong support system in my family, my friends, and my coworkers, which brings me to my second point, which is I am super fortunate to have a company and a team culture that is truly supportive and offers me the flexibility to help my work-life balance. An easy example is if one of our kids has to stay home sick, my husband and I can figure out a solution. And if it means that I need to reschedule some stuff at work, then I will. But this is where the culture part comes in. My coworkers don't tolerate it. They empathize with me. They don't hold it against me. They ask me if my kid is feeling better. Having an HR policy for flexibility feels like it's becoming more common, but it won't work if you don't have a culture and a team where it's really supported. Infineum does a lot of things to drive gender equality. Given the disproportionate caregiving responsibilities that many women have, the flexibility I mentioned before is very valuable, but it's not the only thing that matters. The company culture is a key element of driving equality. Inclusiveness matters. It's part of our core values. It's championed at all levels in the organization. And one of the ways Infineum holds itself to account is that we look at it. We look and we test for gender bias and other types of biases as well in our recruiting programs, in our performance reviews, in our leadership opportunities. One powerful example I have from my own experience is that we also don't assume. I was offered a promotion to an executive leadership position when I was about to return from maternity leave. Nobody decided or assumed on my behalf that having two very young children would make it just too hard. And that's not going to be my priority. They talked to me about it, and we talked about what the challenges might be. And we agreed we're going to figure it out as we go. But it's not a reason to say we're going to make a decision around my career and my family that's just too difficult. They also supported other things like the launch of affinity groups. I'm really active in our women's affinity group in the US, and it's connected a number of women and allies together where we get to have meaningful discussions and help each other in our careers and in our lives. And Infineum also helps support local organizations. So high schools, colleges, we organize volunteer events, which we often do alongside other local companies. And we have things like Bring Your Kids to Work Day, career panel discussions. There's always plenty of volunteers in the company to support these events. And recently, Infineum launched a new initiative to even give a day off to spend volunteering in support of STEM. So have I encouraged people toward a STEM career? Have I mentored someone? Absolutely, yes. It's funny to think of it as quote unquote mentoring someone because it sounds a little formal and maybe even a little intimidating, but the reality of it, yeah, I do it all the time. At a big family party, I asked my cousin-in-law about how her college search was going, and it turned into a conversation about opportunities in engineering. I had coffee with a high school senior from my church whose dad is an engineer, but she specifically wanted to hear more about what it was like to be a woman in engineering. She wanted to hear about perspectives and challenges she might see. I volunteered to talk at high schools and colleges, do career day type events. It's those personal connections that make STEM real for people and not just a concept. It's somebody's everyday life. It's my everyday life.